Hello and thanks for checking out ChartGuys.com. We're proud to be one of the most successful technical analysis communities online, teaching you the skills to become a more confident, effective, and informed trader. Join our community of hundreds of analysts worldwide working together to learn the charts, generate profit, and achieve financial independence. For access to daily live chart analysis and market coverage, a thriving chat community, along with dozens of hours of exclusive educational materials. We look forward to seeing you. Let's check out some charts. Checking back in on the sector, so we got our oversold bounce. Once again, 4-hour historical RSI on CGC to the rescue. It has provided some very nice bounce gains, maybe a half dozen times in the last, 2 years, we'll call it. No, less than that. In the last year. So this was another one. Talked about the game plan yesterday in the video. If you did not see it, go back and re-watch it. Can be an educational lesson. So what I did was, I was all cash to start the day, saw the setup, said, okay, the last thing I'm going to do is not be in a position when this bounce takes place. So I rebought where I sold yesterday, same level, first thing this morning, 1901. I then was going to add a second position in the low $18 range if we kept dropping to those levels. We didn't. The bounce got underway. I sold half of my position in the 1930s to allow for very comfortable riding the second half of the position, and then I exited the full position knowing that we had not changed the hourly trend. When you're this extended on the hourly time frame and you bounce almost 10% from the low of the day and you don't change the hourly trend yet, you know to be patiently waiting because an hourly higher low and trend change has to take place. What's the first indication that our hourly top has been set? A loss of the 5-minute uptrend. So all morning, I just walked up my stop loss with the 5-minute uptrend on the second half of my position. Didn't get stopped out here because it only broke by 1 penny, and I leave more wiggle room than that. Did get stopped out here. I had my stop tighter here because of the 5-minute exponential 12-period support. We held it, and I knew that if we broke that support level, we were likely going to lose it. We lost it, traded sideways a little bit longer, and then pulled back further. So I exited at 2024. That was my order at the low there. And initially I might say, oh man, it stopped me out right at the bottom. But in the end, knew that the shift was on as we had to see the hourly consolidation. I did attempt to make an entry on a 5-minute higher low here for a potential move into the end of the day. There's our bounce. I entered here at 2005-ish. Stop under 1993 and 1995. And ended up losing, I think, 12, 13 cents when we did get stopped out. S&P 500 had a lot to do with this. There were times where we were significantly correlated to SPY today. It is always important. So here's SPY in the background. Look at how we started the morning. Started the morning with a quick pullback and a V-shaped recovery to the high on SPY and in CGC. So we were correlated in the first half hour of trading. Correlation shifted right here. And it was a great sign for the bulls on CGC to see continuation while SPY pulled back. That gave us some confidence. And then look at the high here. High of the day on CGC was a high bounce for SPY. And then look at how correlated we got the second half of the day. So pretty much we broke correlation between 10 and 11:30, but other than that, we were very correlated for the rest of the day. And this pullback here and not closing strong, in my opinion, was due to SPY weakness. So in the end, as we head into tomorrow, we need an hourly trend change, holding 1865 and breaking 2051 to confirm the hourly trend change. I'm back to a fresh, clean slate. I'll cash into tomorrow. The last thing I want to be doing is holding a name that's in a daily and weekly downtrend after a 10% bounce from the low. So if we start tomorrow with a little bit of weakness, I will be scouting for the hourly higher low to form compared to 1865. ACB earnings are on Thursday, CGC earnings on Friday, ETF rebalancing going on at some point this week. So pretty action-packed week, and bulls have their fingers crossed. So we saw the Canadian MJ sector bounce as a unit, all is one like we needed to see. US MJ did not participate, which is notable to me. APHA, bounce attempt, this isn't doing anything. It's a very weak bounce. Have we changed the hourly trend? No. Size of the pullback has us starting to look for an equilibrium, because with resistance at 439, we could see a 3-4% bounce and still not be breaking that resistance yet. But all in all, it is roughly the same setup as CGC. And on both names, we're just looking for a daily lower high, and then earnings will dictate direction from there. Anything under 485 is a daily lower high. ACB, all bears still. Failed to break the high of yesterday by 1 penny, and we closed near the low of the day. 150 is the only short-term support. Bottom has not been found yet. Cron, same as CGC. Hourly trend has to change. Daily chart, anything under 764 is just a daily lower high. So even if we get the hourly trend changes tomorrow, we know that earnings are either going to make this oversold bounce see significant follow through or completely erase it and have us drop to lower lows. TLRY closed a bit stronger. Hourly higher low is established. 1656, that's the difference between Cron, CGC, and those other names we just looked at. Hourly higher low is set. Bulls need to break 1718 for continuation. Anything under 1854 is a daily lower high. OGI, still holding 221 support. Anything under 266 is a daily lower high. Bulls have work to do. You could call this an hourly trend change, although we did break support by a penny. Otherwise, today's action very similar to everybody else. Hexo drew this falling wedge yesterday. We're still within it. Anything under 140 was a lower high. We topped out at 135 for today. Trying to change the hourly trend. This is enough pullback to look for an hourly equilibrium as the most likely scenario, as opposed to hourly continuation. And again, it's all due to the size of the pullback, the percentage move. VFF, trying to bounce. Have we changed the hourly trend? Nope. Trying to form that higher low. Bulls need to change the hourly trend tomorrow. Then we zoom out and look for the daily lower high compared to 582. Short-term bounces. Get it while it's hot. Get in. Get your money. Get out. That's my viewpoint. Labs dropped to a lower low today, but saw a solid bounce off that low. It needs an hourly trend change as well. That hourly consolidation taking place at the end of the day. If we change the hourly trend, we zoom out because anything under 308 is a daily lower high, and that's still over 10% away from even after the strong green day. The LNS trying for a daily higher low. I am considering anything over 315 a daily higher low. Yes, we have a couple little wicks, but that is not a convincing enough pivot point. We need a higher low compared to 315 and a bull break of 379 to give us a shift on the weekly time frame. IIPR trying to set its daily higher low. If we break 93.29 tomorrow, our daily higher low is then 90.76. But again, we have to be cautious of this head and shoulders setup if we fail to break the top of 96.25 and then lose the daily higher low. Step one is set the daily higher low. Inside bar today has to break bullish. Cureleaf had every setup that it could have wanted today. It had an upgrade, and it had the Canadian MJ sector bouncing. Yet the bulls could do nothing with it. It's a bit of a red flag. We broke 811 support. At this point, it's only by a couple pennies. I would still call that a double bottom. But if we break 809 tomorrow, it is a very clear lower high and lower low. Lower high, lower low. And Cureleaf is getting notorious for major bull moves with inability to follow through with a trend change. And this is an example. We already had a little daily uptrend, but to go from 760 to 992 and not be able to set a higher low and see continuation, just not ideal for bulls. So sell off into the end of the day. And again, if we break 809 tomorrow, daily downtrend confirmed. TRUL, if we can break 1379, I'll call this our higher low being set at 1330, and we'll then be looking at 1494. But that short-term resistance from yesterday of 1379 needs to break for a clear enough pivot point. CL is all bears, increasing bear volume, no sign of the bulls whatsoever. 590 is the only support. IAN, no sign of the bulls whatsoever. 149 is the only support. GTII, bounce attempt, have to change the hourly trend for any follow through. And if we see that, we just look for a daily lower high, anything under 1326, 30% away. And Harv, trying to bounce, anything under 405 is a daily lower high. So bottom line is, nice oversold bounces in Canadian MJ, nice little quick gains. Overall, sector has a lot of work to do. Short-term ACB and CGC earnings are going to dictate Canadian MJ direction. Birds are partying. Rainy day into a 64 degrees sunny day. Lost my train of thought. Bears have control, short-term bounces. Earnings are a gamble. They will dictate short-term direction. And I will be all cash for those earnings and look to play the reaction to those earnings. Have a good rest of your day.